Coach Greg Lovelady, thanks for joining us with the Sons of UCF. First question for you, what's your earliest memory of an opening day?
Oh, man. I think Little League, the Howard Palmetto Corey League in Miami is where I grew up, and I remember opening day there. A couple of big memories. One, the University of Miami used to come out and do like a clinic during opening day, so you get to go and hang out with the players and kind of get to be around them, which, again, I was growing up at that field. And then two, I remember opening day, Eric Compton, who is on the Corn Ferry Tour now, but was a big golfer, had a heart transplant, and I remember raising money for that, and they were doing all this stuff as he was getting ready to go through that for his family, and then him coming back maybe a year or two later and playing baseball again, and now he's a big golfer. But so I think all the way back to 7, 8, 9 years old, I can remember those opening days. But I think I can remember almost every opening day in 21 years as a coach and player. I mean, just the excitement. There's nothing better in sports than baseball opening day. I think it's just something special about it. Just everyone getting excited and just the hoopla that goes along with it all. And it doesn't change this year. I'm excited, and I'm excited about this team, and I'm excited to go watch them compete, and opening day. When you just say the words, I think it just brings something with nostalgia plus the excitement. I mean, I think it's awesome.
Nerves, butterflies?
Yeah, I think always. I think always. Gosh, I think if I didn't have them, I'd probably retire. You know what I mean? But just wanting to compete and wanting to get out there and play well, and those nerves come with it, and I think that's natural and that's okay. I think we talk to our players about that all the time. That's knows you're alive and knows that it means something, but that's part of the fun of going out there and competing.
Where is this program now compared to where you were when you started?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, like roller coaster. I was thinking about it the other day. Just those 13 or whatever it is, 12 seniors that we had on that team my first year, that were just really special and just really hungry, and that group of guys just mixed with the younger guys. And then those guys left, and it was kind of like we got to try to now build it the way that we feel like is going to sustain us for success in the long term. And it's tough in recruiting because you recruit kids so far out in baseball, where really the 2020 recruiting class, that was freshmen, were really the first freshmen that we could really start to recruit in terms of being at the same level or same playing field as everybody in the state of Florida or in the whole entire country, where there was, when I got here, that class, that 2020 high school class, or 2019 class, 85% of those kids were uncommitted. So you get to go out and kind of build relationships and try to go head to head in the recruiting battles, where when you get here, it's unlike some other sports where it's like you can recruit like the high school seniors for the next year. It just doesn't work that way in baseball. So that 19 class, and then matching that with the 20 class, which was the 21 season, and really now this freshman class you're just starting to stack kids that we've built relationships with, that we believe in, that believe in us, that have been able to build relationships with us as coaching staffs, that fit what we're trying to do from a cultural standpoint, and then from obviously an on the field standpoint. So you're just starting to put classes on top of classes on top of classes, which then over the years it's not just 9 guys that fit that mold, but now it's 18 guys, and then it's so you're really starting to get to where the full team is really bought in and has signed up for this. Where they weren't forced with a new coach, or or being committed but then having a coaching change or whatnot, but that they signed up for everything that we believe in. And so from a culture standpoint, I think it's really getting to where I thought it would be, and I think we're really starting to make the strides. Obviously the 2020 season we started to make some strides, and COVID just killed all the momentum. And just last year, I think just got with COVID still around and injuries and things that happened early in the year, it just was a tough thing for us to get through until we got to conference, and we started to turn things around. But I'm hoping that now that kind of COVID is for the most part behind us, and again we've got the culture where we want it. We got a bunch of dudes that are really hungry. I'm thinking that we've got the momentum of where we want to go, and excited about it.
If I had to sum up your tenure, a phrase that comes to mind is "oh so close." Mm-hmm. Last four out. A lot of one-run losses last year. It just seems just a little bit more. Yeah. Is that a message that you've communicated to your players, especially when you look back at 11 one-run losses.
Yeah.
It's little things, isn't it, in the game of baseball?
And it's also, we talked a lot about that one-run loss in the championship we didn't lose that game on Sunday. We lost that game somewhere along the way where maybe we didn't practice hard enough, or we didn't put enough time and effort in, or, somebody, collectively, everyone made bad decisions from August 20-something all the way until that championship game that didn't allow us to play the way that we felt like we needed to play in order to win the game. And so where does that one run come from? Does it come from how we practice on Super Bowl Sunday before the Super Bowl? Like, do we start thinking about that instead of thinking about practice? This week is a challenging week because you want Friday to come so fast, but we have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to practice. And so are you so concerned about Friday that you just kind of go through the motions on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? Not only does it affect us on Friday, but now we can't be as good as a team on that championship game in that one run. You know what I mean? So it's those kind of opportunities, those kind of days that you got to fight through and be really, really present and understand, and you got to make some sacrifices along the way, and you've got to do things that are for the team, and maybe not best for you, and maybe not best for what you want, but what you know the team wants to do. And I think that the vision, last year, the way that people would describe our team last year, it didn't sit well with anyone. That underachieving and things like that we just couldn't get it done. And I think that the guys have been on a mission ever since we got back in August to make sure that we flip that script. And so hopefully be on the positive side of those close ones.
Earlier you mentioned recruiting. Talk a little bit more about the Big 12. How does it compare to what we have grown accustomed to with the style of play and the competitiveness of the American?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit different, but I mean, I think that, again, we've talked about it, that just the American doesn't get the respect that it deserves. That we've been in this conference, and it is a grind. I mean, there's no easy weekends. It's really difficult. There's a ton of talented kids, a bunch of draft picks that you're facing every single week. So this is a really challenge. Now the Big 12 goes to a little bit more. It's a little bit more of an upgrade, but it's not a huge upgrade, in terms of the talent. I think on the mound, the depth. I think that's where it really comes down to is the depth of the conference in terms of the teams. Like some of these teams in the Big 12 are going to be rolling out guys, their 9th, 10th, 11th pitcher that's going to be just as good as their first, second, or third. Where you might not get that in our league, where we just the dudes are the guys, but you don't just roll out, some freshman that isn't pitching at all, and oh man, he's throwing 95 miles an hour. Like that's not really what we have in this league. I think the top end is really good in terms of the talent of the players, but the depth just from again, I think it comes down to not being in a Power 5 conference and whatnot, and so people can't say that anymore about us.
How does that conversation change now with recruits and families?
I think it's huge. I think that a lot of times the no's were, well, we want to go play in a Power 5. And that was the excuse. And it was like, well, we really like you guys, but we want to go to we want to play in the Power 5 or something like that. So I think it takes away a big, a chunk of those kids that maybe we didn't get because we weren't in the Power 5 that now we can get. And so that's exciting. And obviously playing some of the teams that are, top 10 in the country, and then playing in some of the best stadiums in the country, like obviously that's all a draw, I think, for recruits. And so, again, I think I just think the way our university is being built, just football, the way things that they're doing, like all that excitement, it all translates and trickles down to everybody. So I think that it's an exciting time. And, I think we all thought it was an exciting time, just the things that were happening in football even before. And now it's even more exciting to know that we're all going to the Big 12, and we feel like we can do some really special things here in every sport. And, I think we're all excited to be a part of that.
Let's talk about this year's team. What do you like about it? What are you excited about it? What are we going to see, or what you hope we see?
Yeah, I think a little bit of everything. I think, we're way more experienced. Last year on opening day, we had 691 career at-bats. We now have over 3,800 career at-bats on the roster. So we've had a lot of guys go through the ups and downs. Some of the guys that were on the team in 2020 got off to good starts. Whatever the case was for those 18 games, some guys struggled last year and up and down. So that's a big part of this game, is understanding how do I show up every day and perform, and how do I not let an 0 for 4 day turn into a 0 for 12 weekend. And so I think from an offensive standpoint, we're going to need some guys to step up, kind of fill the role that Crouch and Rathbone left in terms of their production. But 1 through 9, I think we're going to be way deeper, way more experienced. I think we got 11 or 12 guys that can really, really stand out offensively this season. And then on the mound, obviously the transfers are going to be huge, but I think this will be the best starting staff that we've had since I've been here in terms of stuff wise. And I think that the guys they're old enough and have enough experience that they're going to be able to perform at a really, really high level. And so, I think I'm excited from all facets that we have the experience. I think we have the talent. And it's just, again, how do we handle the ups and downs, and can we handle and understand and learn from, especially a season like last year where, we had so many close games and we just were on the losing end too much. And, but also understanding, again, that we have the ability, and that if we can just make good decisions and practice the way we talk about championship environment every single day, if we can do those types of things like on a consistent basis, then I think the wins will take care of themselves.
Take us around the infield. Who stands out? What do they bring to the game?
But obviously Freeland is kind of the centerpiece of our defense at shortstop, and it's a huge position. And so obviously him playing every day last year as a freshman, just getting that experience again. And I think he's one of those guys where got off to a good start, and then college happens, like where people are watching video and they're adjusting to the things that you do. And, I think that they adjusted to him, and it just took him a little bit longer to adjust back. And so kind of got off to a good start, then kind of went through a lull in the center of the season, and then finished really, really strong. And so hopefully now he understands that cat and mouse game of how to adjust and what people are trying to do to him. And understanding that there's video out there and people are going to be game planning on how to beat you. And so I think that learning experience, that experience that you get, is just invaluable. So, but again, locks down the same thing with Jeffrey out in center field, a guy that's been here and played for 4 years and played in a lot of big games the last couple of years. But last year was his first full baseball season. Playing and getting 200 something at bat. So again, that experience and that growth, he's put on some weight. But you're talking about lockdown shortstop, a lockdown center fielder. And I think that really starts where you need to be good at. And I think that's where a good team starts at, is up the middle. So, and obviously behind the plate, we got Ben McCabe, who's obviously a returner that can do some great things. We have Riley Wash, who's a grad transfer from Pitt, who is a really, really great defender. And then we got Cole Russo, a young guy that has a really, really big future here and high upside. And so those three guys and the two guys, again, Freeland and Pena, up the middle, we're really, really good. And I think that's going to be a really big part of our team. In the outfield, you got Tom Joseph can play the outfield, who's a big-time returner. Pablo Ruiz. Trent Taylor's had a great fall and early winter and done some really, really special things that I think he has an ability. And then Lex Bodecker is a freshman that can really swing it from the left side, and strong, powerful, but he can hit for average. That I think is going to be a big part of our team this year. And then on the infield, Michael Brooks, transfer from Arkansas, had sit out last year, but has done some great things defensively and offensively. Obviously just has the pedigree and been around a lot of really good players and growing up in Team USA and things like that just has a knack for having success. Joseph can play second base. Brooks can play second base. John Montez obviously had a great freshman year last year, can play second base.
Gives you a lot of options.
It does. And I think, again, that's why I talked about we got 11 or 12 guys deep that I feel like we can maneuver stuff. We can use guys in matchup situations where the analytics tell us this is the best lineup to put out today, and then tomorrow might be a totally different lineup, just depending on whether it's right-hander, left-hander, what kind of stuff they have. I think it gives us those different options. And so, but again, Tom Joseph can play anywhere, but he can play first, second, or third. Lex Bodecker can play first. Cole Russo can play first. Nick Romano, obviously, who we have had high hopes for, and just last year just wasn't able to stay healthy, which really hurt us because we really thought he hit 3-hole on opening day, and then went down with the hamstring and then an oblique, and so many. It was just some things that we think he can play first or third, but will hit in the middle of our lineup again. And again, I think his big thing is just if he can stay healthy, he can fill that void that was left by Crouch and Rathbone moving on. So, I think from an offensive standpoint, we got 11 or 12 guys deep that we really believe could start any game for us. And any other year, they might be an everyday starter, and we're gonna have to make some tough decisions day to day. But again, I think this group understands that and has bought into the team. We're gonna do what's best for the team today, and it might not be what's best for me, but I'm gonna be a great teammate and really push, because at the end of the day, the better we all do, the better everyone else does individually.
What about defensively? What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I just think we're athletic. Again, I think the thing we try to do is shrink the defense, right? There's a lot of acreage on the field, and we gotta get guys out there that can shrink that. And so obviously, you get a guy like Trent and Jeffrey in the outfield, and Pablo. I mean, Trent and Jeffrey are both elite runners, but you got guys that are really good runners, and Ruiz and Jostin and even Lex. Like those guys in the outfield can shrink the field, and just puts a lot of less area out there the balls can fall. And then again, Freeland, I think, is an elite shortstop. Michael Brooks is a great third baseman. Again, and second base, who's ever playing there is going to be able to move and be able to help our pitchers out by playing defense. So I like the defense. Again, the experience. I think that, especially on the infield, Chris has done a great job coaching and just understanding the pace and taking care of the baseball and doing those kinds of things that we stress every day in practice that will hopefully carry over to the games and that we'll be able to take care of the baseball and limit the amount of free bases that we give out.
On Media Day, we talked a little bit about John Rice Plumlee. What's the latest on that? And talk just a little bit more about what he's bringing to your clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, still no final answer yet. We're hoping that we do get it by opening day. It's just waiting on the waiver and appeal to go through. So we'll see. But again, I mean, he just brings an energy to the dugout that's just different. The players have all been immediately attracted to his personality. Like he is immediately fit right in. Like there was no, trying to get the feeling, what I mean? Like there was none of that. Like he immediately stepped right in and seemed like he was friends with everybody on the first day of practice. And so there's a testament to him and his family and his personality and just coming in and he's, cares about winning. He's one of the most competitive kids already that I can tell. He loves to work. He, again, is very much like Trent and Jeffrey, where he's obviously really fast, can really defend. He's got bat speed, got some power, can do a little bit of it all. You know what I mean? Obviously, not playing baseball for 7 months of the year is difficult, especially as an offensive guy, but just how fast he can pick things up. And I've seen guys like Kyler Murray who don't pick up a bat, and then all of a sudden, the first part of the year they're struggling, but by the end of the year they're the best player on the field because the more reps they get, but they pick it up so fast compared to other people just because of their aptitude and their athleticism and their drive and desire to want to be good. So, but he's made our team better. Even if he doesn't play a single inning, he makes our team better just by the energy that he brings and the personality and the drive and the competitiveness and pushing guys, but also, being, somewhat of a leader out there. And not only by the way he talks, but just by the way he acts and goes about his business. It's fun. He's a great kid. I'm glad he's a part of our team.
Considering what he will have to juggle, right, between baseball and football, you have to like that your players see someone with a work ethic that can make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult. I mean, I think just seeing it even in a month and a half, it's really difficult to do two sports and the time and effort you got to put in and to be good at them. And he does. And he's a junkie in terms of work. And whether that's studying the playbook or being out here swinging it, like he is constantly working. And I think that he would probably work 24 hours a day if he could, and that's just the way he is. It's the way he's built and wired, and it's fun. It's fun to hear a guy talk the way he talks.
Let's talk about pitching. Some changes, some faces that we haven't seen, some folks in maybe some new roles. Just go through the staff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. We'll open up with David Litchfield on Friday night, starting for us. Just really excited. He brings the experience, the temperament, just the ability to miss barrels. And a guy that's been in college for a while, but been here at UCF for a long time, and has really worked his way from being a nobody to the closer to we really feel like going to Friday nights just gives us the best chance to kind of set the tone for the weekend. And he's done a great job and has really earned it. And but again, just the temperament and the experience of not going to let things bother him and go out there and compete. And obviously the sinker plays, and it's done a good job in the bullpen. And he'll have to adjust and get used to having to throw 5, 6, 7, 8 innings and increase his innings over the course of the season. But the guy works really, really hard. He's in great shape. He works a ton in the weight room. And if there's one guy that can make that jump, I know that it's him. So excited about that. Connor Stain will pitch on Saturday. Transfer from Maryland. Big elite stuff. I mean, 93 to 97. 4 pitches, all plus pitches. He's got a chance to be really, really special. He's got a big league body, big league arm. He's got that Max Scherzer kind of temperament on the mound where he gets really excited, but he's super competitive. And so as long as he can harness that in a good way, like he's got a chance to be one of the best pitchers in our league this year. Hunter Pattison will pitch on Sundays, opening weekend, and I'm really, again, a guy that, as a freshman got to pitch a lot, in those 18 games, and then last year pitched in, especially late in the year, the second half of the year had to take over for Colton and was our best guy and pitched in the biggest games and was look at the second half numbers last year, they were on par with anybody in the league. And so again, him being able to do that and understand and see the grind of the season, I think he's now prepared to be able to go out and put those second half numbers up the entire year. So just excited. Again, those are 3 elite pitchers that could be our Friday night guy any year that I've been here. And so to have 3 of those guys on the weekend, like that really gets us off to a good start. Will Saxton, a transfer from FIU, has been awesome, really competed. He has got the closer mentality. He's big left-handed pitcher that can run up to 97 with great stuff, but super competitive on the mound. That closer mentality where he really gets amped up and screaming and yelling and getting all and excited, and but he's got swing and miss stuff. The fastball is really, really hard to time up. He's big and lanky, and so his arms and legs. I mean, they got the deception. So I mean, it just makes it really, really tough. But fastball plays up. So I think at the end of the game, it just gives us kind of that Jeff Hakinson type guy that you just feel like the game is over, and he's got that type of elite stuff, which is going to be huge for us. Ben Vespi, Zach Hunsaker. Are going to be 2 huge guys at the end of the game that are going to pitch, in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning when we need it, that have the experience. Ben obviously had a massive freshman year last year. Hunsaker's been here for 4 years and has pitched in some really big games, so it gives us some experience at the end of the game, guys that have done it, that have the stuff that can be the setup guy. And again, if Will's not available, both those guys have the ability to close. And so those guys have been great. Vespi has really made another jump. I mean, his stuff has just been really, really tough. We've struggled hitting him in practice, and Hunsaker obviously has been like that for a few years. So they're all healthy, which is good, and that'll be big for us. Chase Santala, Kyle Kramer, Rudy Gomez are going to be 3 other guys in the bullpen. Right-handers are going to be big for us, that I think have an opportunity to not only be Tuesday starters, but be those guys at the end of the game as well. Kyle comes from Rollins, Rudy comes from Hillsborough, so guys that are older that have some college experience, so I think that's going to help. Chase Santala went to Florida last year, so a transfer from Florida that has really good stuff. So, again, we have some depth now, where last year we had a lot more true freshmen pitching in those roles. This year we got guys with more experience that are pitching in those roles. So again, we have some more elite stuff at the front end, and we got more depth than we have. And then Julian Balzer, Marlowe, Cox, Castellano, those are all left-handers. Balzer that I think can match up. It gives us options. We got way more left-handed pitching this year with those 4 guys that are going to be able to, and Cam Crane too. So I mean, we got 5 left-handers that we can match up, lefty, righty, here, there. That just gives us, again, we didn't have that last year, where it was kind of like we had the 3 guys at the end of the games that we couldn't match up. It was just put the guy that you think is the best matchup in that situation. But now we've got some stuff that we can actually make some moves and depth and talented depth. And so I'm kind of jacked up about just our pitching staff and what we can do. I mean, obviously health is a big thing from both sides. We got to stay healthy, and we struggled out last year, but we got to do a good job of that. And if we do that, I think we have the ability and the experience to be a really, really good ball club.
You talked about more at bats, more innings pitched year to year. Also, perhaps a more mentally tough team because they have experienced those 1-run losses.
Yeah.
They know what those little things add up to mean in a game. Do you think you have a more mentally
tough? No doubt. I think experience. I think the culture, the way the guys have worked. I mean, I think all of that points to a much more tough team to beat. But I think they understand that everything, every inning, every pitch matters. And I think when you get caught up in it's the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, or no more important than the first, second, and third inning. If you come out there ready to play the game, you show up and you're focused, and you're not we'll see what happens, and then the seventh inning, oh crap, we're down a run. Let's start to lock it in. If we can lock it in on the first pitch, I think that just gives us a chance to get out even those one-run games. You know what I mean? Where you're scoring a couple runs early, where now you're on the positive end instead of having to come back. Now you're winning those games late, and then we have the ability at the end of the game to shut the door. And so I think that this group understands that every pitch matters, every game matters. Who we're playing is irrelevant. We've really focused a lot on just playing our brand of baseball against our standard, and worrying about the things that we can control, and not worrying about who's in the other dugout. And again, we played great against Ole Miss and Auburn the last 2 years. That should be the standard. We should play like that, with that energy every single day, no matter what we're playing, what the weather's like, what time of day it is, road, home game. None of that is relevant. You play the way that you play every single day. If you can consistently do that, then all that other stuff takes care of itself, and you get away from those one-run games. You can come back from those one-run when you do get down. But you got to do that every single day. You just can't be show up when you feel like it, or show up when you're playing somebody that's ranked or a Power 5 school. You can't do that. You got to respect the game, and you got to show up every single day and come out with that same intensity, because you never know who's going to be watching you for the first time. And if you want to be consistent, you got to show up every day with the same level of intensity, the same preparation, and the same desire to want to win. You can't want to win more on one day than the other. You got to have that same desire every day. And I think the guys have talked a lot about that, of wanting to come out and play the game the right way every single day. So I'm excited to see them come out and actually do it.
COVID really impacted scheduling. You have a more traditional schedule. What do you like about the schedule you built for this season?
Yeah, those 4-game weekends were tough. It's really hard to win doubleheaders, both ends of doubleheaders. The percentage, if you look at any doubleheader games, the percentage of a team winning or losing both of them doesn't happen very much. You split a lot of those. The 4-game weekends are tough, especially with the lack of depth that we had last year. When you're playing 36 innings in 3 days, that is tough. It's mentally tough. It's a grind. It's tough on the players. It's tough on the coaches. It's tough on everything. And so I think just getting it more traditional, again, even with our depth being better than it is, I still think that it allows us to, again, you pitch a game in the first game of the doubleheader, then usually those pitchers can't pitch in the second game of the doubleheader. Well, now you're playing 3 games over 3 days, and 4 games over 7 days, or 5 games over 7 days. You can get those guys in the game more, so you can put your better guys in the game when you need them. From an offensive standpoint, I think, again, it's just those 18-inning games are tough, and it just wears you down over the course of the weekend. So, I just think getting back to kind of some normalcy of being able to whether it's a bad game or a good game, being able to move on and work on, and then worry about the next day, and being able to rest and recover, and then come back and do the whole process over again, I think it's beneficial for everybody. So it's not just us. Everybody's going to be going through this. So, but it's just nice to know that, I think practice during the weeks can get a little bit boring when we weren't playing any midweeks once we started conference, and the practice can just get that lull. And now that we have something to look forward to on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I think we'll just bring that energy up, and again, getting the challenge of playing every day like it's the most important day of the season, and the biggest game of the year. Having that mentality definitely is a lot easier when you've got the game spread out a little bit too.
With the uncertainty surrounding Major League Baseball, lockout, spring training disrupted, this is the game in town. What's your message to fans who haven't been out maybe since pre-COVID? You got the new scoreboard, you got some other changes to the ballpark. Just the message to fans coming out. You got a lot of games coming up.
Yeah, I think even with Major League Baseball playing, there is no baseball near here. I think this is a baseball town. I think there's a lot of people here that love baseball. Obviously, with my kids, seeing them and seeing all the young kids are out there playing every day in these travel ball tournaments that are from this area. I don't know how many people know that we have this unbelievable opportunity to watch college baseball and to see it played at the highest level. And I think that the things that we're doing this year from a promotional standpoint, and with the scoreboard and sound system and all that, I think we got a great team that kids can look up to. I think we have great kids that if guys and kids want to play at this level, they have great ambassadors for the game, and great talent to shoot for, and understand what they need to do and how hard do they need to work in order to be a part of our team and be a part of college baseball. And so I think it's going to be a great experience. I think our players deserve the support, and I think that I'm really looking forward to shattering all kinds of attendance records this year. And I think that if you're not here, you're missing out on something that's really, really exciting. It's not only an exciting brand of baseball, but I think it's going to be inexpensive family entertainment that you're going to be able to come out, have a great time, and get a chance to enjoy the America's pastime and enjoy being a part of UCF and the community.
UCF Baseball head coach Greg Lovelady, thanks for joining us. Good luck this season.
Appreciate you.